create kind of a systematic approach that defines how the board and management interact with each other and how the owners get to interact. It basically documents what we're already doing, but gives everybody a framework to operate in. It also makes sure that the board is focused on results, not means. We're going to talk about ends versus means and what that means, and how you should focus your efforts as a board member. What should you be focusing on? What should you be looking for? It's not, and I'll give you a hint, it's not how the cheese is made or the sausage is made. It's not the day-to-day. It's not what your manager does today, what your manager is going to do tomorrow. It is what, as a community, we want to accomplish in the future, and the manager helps drive you to that and helps determine how we get there. So, all right, so ends versus means. So ends, which is the world in which board members should live in, are really focused on purpose. And we talked a lot about board member purpose, and the purpose of the homeowners association and why it exists is to protect and enhance the value of the assets of the community. So your purpose and your ends should be focused on that purpose. So we need to define what the board members will accomplish, i.e. what we need to accomplish, and it should talk about outcomes. So where the community is going, what are the outcomes of the community? We talk about what results are to be produced for whom and at what worth, and about the impacts to the board as a whole. So the ends are very strategic focus. It is not day-to-day focus. Means are process-based. Those are it's focused on process. It's how the boards operate, specific methods, activities, or staff means are largely operational. These are operational plans on how to achieve that. So let's talk about this. So the board is really in this ends bucket. The board needs to define where the corporation's going and how it's going to get there. Strategic planning is a good example. What does the community need for the next 3, 3, and 5 years would be my recommendation. That can involve capital improvement project replacements. That can involve looking at the types of residents moving into your communities and understanding the kind of amenities you have or will need to have for those residents. Everybody moving in have a pet? Where they all get pets during COVID? Do you have a place to take those pets? Do you need a dog park? Is that an amenity your residents want? You don't know until you take the time to figure that out. The other thing, to think about is, I'll give you a good example of this. In my community, we are going to re-roof 36 of the buildings. We know we need to do that 5 years down the road, but we have to think about what kind of funding is needed in the next 1, 3, and 5 years to get that roofing project done. Because we, as a board, have set a goal. We do not want a special assess for that roofing project. We want to have enough money collected. We do not have enough funding there. So what does our funding plan look like to get there? And also, how can we work with our business partners and our vendors today to make sure that we phase this project out and don't incur a special assessment? So our end goal as a board, and what we've established as ends, is we have to do this project, 1. 2, we don't want a special assess for that. So we need to work. So now all of our goals, or short-term goals, feed into meeting those 2 ends. Except for this one here, where it says board means how the board will do its work. Everything else under needs, that's management. That's their job. The process of how things get done, or how we get from point A to point B, that's how management does it. If you as a board set the goal that this is what we want to do, we don't want a special assessment, and we need to get the roofs done, management's job is to help us as a board get to that point. So they will contact the contractors, they'll help us make a decision about contractors, they'll bring contractors to the board for review and approval, they'll help us put together a funding plan, but the management's doing all of the needs, not the ends.
We do appreciate you here at HOA Strategies and the ability we have to work with each of you. So thank you for attending today.